Here with Rick Gessner here at Bass Central to talk about the brand new ValveTrain Brandywine all-tube amplifier for bass. Hi Rick, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you, Michael?
Good. Can you tell me a little bit about this beauty?
Yeah, what we decided to do was to come out with an amp that is primarily targeted as a tone engine for guys in the studio. This is a 50-watt all-tube head that is inspired by the amps of the early to mid-60s as far as American-made amps. It takes its heritage from the Ampeg style and the Fender style amps of that era. What we did was we tried to increase the flexibility of those old amps by putting in some features for the modern player. We have the traditional volume, treble, and bass controls, which you will find to be very similar to those of the flip tops or the B25. Plus, they're active Baxandall tone stack plus or minus 12 dB at their respective cutoff frequencies. The volume control, and we've added a mid control. The mid control will lift the entire mid-range of the amp and move the spectrum a little bit toward the treble side. We have an ultra low and an ultra high switch, bright switch, ultra low, deep switch, whatever you want to think of them as, but it enhances the bass and enhances the top end snap. Now, two of the main features that we've added is the governor control. This is a call out to my friend and mentor Dennis Kager up in New Jersey, and it is a reverse master volume control. The more you turn it up, the quieter the amp gets. You bring it back to number one and the amp is wide open. This will allow you to control the relationship of the preamp to the power amp stage. We also have a pad for passive to active. It is a switch on switch that brings you into the active realm and then lets you pad down to try to keep an 18-volt system pretty much under control. That's primarily what's going on the front side of the amp. On the back side, we chose to put a tuner out, and we chose to put a preamp out, which is direct preamp signal, and a direct out, which is post power tubes with a level control on that, so that you have the ability to send how much drive you want going to the DI. Speakers are 2, 4, and 8 ohm selectable, 2 speaker outs. We chose not to put a DI or a balance line out on this amp because there are so many choices. We figured we'd be better off to take the high ground, keep it simple, and let the studio guys use their tube pre's, passive DIs, whatever they want to use to get the signal they want into the board. That's pretty much the high side of the amp. The cabinet is a vintage style shelf port 115 with a neodymium eminence driver in it at 4 ohms. That's the simple side of it.
I can testify, Rick. We tried it here at Bass Central. We've tried most of the passive instruments that we carry, P and J bass style, and they just sound like $1,000,000. Harkening back to the Bob Babbitt, Carol Kay era, where those tones were just amazing bass tones. We also tested the active Music Man Stingrays, and they worked well with the pad control engaged. Definitely would handle that. It's not a high volume amplifier, as you said. It's a tone machine.
Yeah, we set it up so that it was primarily to be used in the studio or for front end tone generation. If you need serious stage volume, come out of the preamp out or the direct out into a 1000-watt Class D, 2000-watt Class D power amp and move as much air as you need. It's about tone from the amplifier itself. It's all we're trying to do with this piece.
Very cool. And the tube complement in there again?
It is 2 12AX7s and 2 6L6s.
Very, very cool. Well, Rick, I appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Looking forward to the 200-watt version. Hint, hint.
There you go. Thanks.
Rick Gessner from ValveTrain.